Today I want to talk about the top five comic book movies that have really interested me. It's not really in no particular order, but maybe the way I'm going to put it in. Some of the time frame might be from how I first started watching it as a child to maybe more as a grown up. Talking about the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. And I don't want to really say it about Superman, all of the movies as a whole, but I know as a child, that was the very first movie I've seen. And I just remember I really didn't collect comics at that age. It might have been around 5 or 6 years old, but I remember the first time seeing Superman fly on the screen. Even though when you go watch the movies nowadays, the technology isn't there and it's pretty cheesy how he looks flying around, but still I think it's more of the feeling you get of going back and looking at the movie. But that first sense of awe of watching a movie like that, and as a kid and watching a superhero, your one of your childhood heroes flying and watching them on screen was really great. And that's one of my top movies. Second movie that I would bring up is Batman, and I'm talking about the Michael Keaton Batman. This was when I was a little older. I want to say I was maybe around 10 or 11. I think this movie came out sometime in the 80s, maybe early 90s. And a lot of the movies around that time they weren't really taken serious. This is one of the big budget comic movies that Warner Brothers threw a lot of money at, and I remember just so much marketing. And this was back in the day. Well, you see so many trailers nowadays. They do a teaser for a trailer, and this was back when you would have to wait for Access Hollywood to give you a little snippet of a movie. And I think the trailer back then was nobody was even talking. It was just watching the Batmobile driving down the street and a couple action shots of Batman punching someone. But the hype of that movie was so fantastic, and that was the first time where you've seen a lot of merchandising for a superhero. And it's much different today, where they just print anything for any movie that comes out. But I thought that movie was phenomenal. This was the movie that really got back its stride after having a couple bad X-Men movies in a row. And it was really great to see Bryan Singer come back and really produce a movie that really showed the X-Men back and grace how we really wanted them to be. Before this movie came out, the way it was at Fox is that everybody wanted Marvel to buy X-Men back. And this was the movie to get Fox back into keeping the rights to this movie, and it really won back a lot of the fans from Fox. People might have this on their list only because of Heath Ledger and the Joker. The way his performance was in that movie, it really made a lot of fans step back. That whenever there's a casting now, they always got to point to, well, remember how we were with Heath Ledger and what he showed us in the performance of Joker in the Batman Rises movie. One of the reasons I liked the Iron Man movie was because at the time this was Marvel's first film that they were producing, and they had a lot riding on this because the comic book company as a whole was not doing good, and they really needed something to really get the fans back in their favor. And they were almost reaching bankruptcy, and to pick Jon Favreau as the director, that was a big shot in the dark for that too, after the other movies he had done before this. And the first trailer they showed at Comic-Con for this movie, it really impressed a whole bunch of fans at Comic-Con, and it was everything that every comic book fan really wanted to see in a movie. And I remember that this movie was going to make or break Marvel, and it did so well. And just look at the renaissance Marvel is doing right now with their movies, and right now this is like really the golden age of comic book movies, and you got to think back of, even though I enjoyed Batman with Michael Keaton, after the first two, that there was really a big, huge decline for comic book movies, and that really put it in hiatus for a long time till X-Men came with their first movie back in the late 90s. But that's my top 5 of comic book movies. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.